What up? What up? What up? I got a video I want to play. First of all, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for clicking on the video. I would like for you to like the video if you like it, and then subscribe because we are looking for subscribers. There's a video, like an intro that I had recorded. I don't know why my StreamYard won't let me record. I was trying to record. I didn't want to go live. I wanted to record. But every time I get over to this option over here, it just gives me record and go live. I mean, it doesn't give me record. It just says go live. But I had recorded a little intro of myself. Let me see what I did with that video. Matter of fact, let me get that video. And then it's going to tell you what's going to happen on this video. Then I'm going to go ahead and do what the video says. Let's go to, oh, look at that. It's grayed out. Okay, so what I'll do then, let's try it this way. Let's try it down here. And there it is.
You ready?
All right. Now this is what, let me put this up first. Remove that.
It was a little embarrassing in Denver. Mile High. We're going to hear what Dak has to say, which I think is some important things. We're going to hear what Shotty has to say. Then we're going to listen to a few cuts from Hanging with the Boys from DallasCowboys.com with Nate Newton, Shannon Gross, Kurt, I forgot Kurt's last name, and Nate Newton, Kurt Daniels. So get ready. Just a little bit of information from the papa.
I wanted to play that at the beginning of my recording, and then it didn't go into my intro and everything. But for some reason, everything kind of got thrown off tonight. I was supposed to go to work. I didn't go. I kind of got caught up doing other things. Getting ready to go out of town. I just got a lot of things happening. So, hey, look, man. I don't call myself Papa Benny for nothing. I got 9 grandchildren, 2 great-grands, and old man trying to get it. And look, and I'm out here swimming with y'all sharks. There's sharks out here. As you look at my look who viewing now. No one right now live. So I haven't been going, counting on live. I wanted to record and then kind of, see what happens. But anyway, we're gonna look at this other video that I have here. Let me see. Wait a minute, with Dak Prescott right here. We're gonna start. It starts off with him, and I'm gonna stop it. But I only put the excerpts. I wanted to talk about it. If you want to see this thing, go to DallasCowboys.com or either go to the Dallas Cowboys YouTube channel, and you'll see all of this, the whole thing. So I'm not gonna play the whole thing, but I got parts of him. I got parts of Shotty, and then like I said, Hanging with the Boys. One of the shows I watch, it comes on daily. So here we go.
Yeah, I mean, we got to find consistency, honestly. The frustrating part about, coming out here and we lost the game playing our best, you can somewhat live with that, But when we didn't play anything close to that, I mean, I think Shotty said it in there. There's somebody that feels like they played their best, come forward and say it. And I don't know if there's any player in that locker room that's going to feel that way. And so talking about identity, trying to find it. We were far from anything that we've been, especially on the offensive side of the ball today. And so that's what's as frustrating as anything is we didn't even play to our identity. We didn't play to our standard. And we've got to find a way to do that on the road. Once again, credit them, credit the crowd, credit the defensive coordinator and those guys out there playing. They did a hell of a job. And so but we've got to overcome that, especially with the players and the people that we've got. Something I've got to go back and look at. You know, it's crazy. Like, I mean, honestly, when I heard that.
This guy, Dak Prescott, is a consummate, an ultimate leader. This guy is a leader. I love the way he talks. I like the way he talks about his team. I like the way he talks to his team. I like the news reports that we get about him. What he just said, man, like identity, man.
Yeah, just stung even more, right? Ferg doesn't have a catch, a guy that's been, 5 or 6 catches.
It was National Tight Ends Day. National Tight Ends Day, and Ferg didn't get not one catch. When I looked at those stats, I couldn't believe it.
Every game, just a consistent target. Us not being able to get him the ball. I know there was one player so that me and him both didn't do what the defense presented, right? And so that probably took a target away from him, but that's just one. And so, yeah, they knew what we were trying to do. They knew who our top targets were, and they did a good job of taking those away. And when they didn't completely take them away, they made it hard on us to take advantage of it, whether it be the pass rush or just the scheme that they had in the coverage. Yeah, we've got people that care about this game, and just breaking down the team right in the locker room. You know, the old saying, adversity reveals character. You know, and also it builds it. And so, who are we? And just challenged everybody, myself included, to look in the mirror and are we giving enough? Are you giving enough throughout the week, throughout your preparation, and particularly on game day, right? To make sure that you're giving your best performance. And so. I know the coaches, I know the men in that building. I know how pissed we all are from this, and I know the way that we're going to get back to work and be ready for Monday night. And so it's a hell of a business we're in. It's a tough business, but I wouldn't choose anything else and wouldn't choose any other men than those guys in those locker room and those coaches. We're going to come together, and we're going to make sure that this doesn't turn into 2 games, and more importantly, we need to find a way to get a streak going on the winning streak. As I know I talked to y'all about that Thursday. That was the most important thing to me, and to come out here and not even get close to that is very, very frustrating as the leader of this team. So it's about making sure we get back to practice, we get back to the details and the intentionality of what we're trying to do on every phase and every drill and everything that we do to make sure we come out here next Monday or whatever it is, and put a better performance, and then we can try to stack 2. But we've got to go get a win.
2 in a row. We haven't been able to get 2 in a row in a long time. They haven't lost 2 in a row. They might lose 2 in a row now because they got the Chiefs on Monday night, and the Chiefs seem to be getting healthy. They seem like they're getting healthy at the right time. So. All depends. But we might lose 2 in a row. We might lose 2 in a row, Dak. I hope not. But we might. We might.
Very tough. Very tough. Yeah, very tough. Because, yeah, you want to put a streak together. And talking about identity, trying to find identity, right? Like, it's hard to even give you an identity until we put a couple of games together in a row. Right now, our identity is up and down. And that's not anything I'm proud of, and not anything anybody in that locker room should be proud of on any side of the ball or the coaches. So, like, we need our identity right now is inconsistent, and that's unacceptable. And we've got to be better. We've got to find a way to be consistent, whether it's at home, on the road, regardless. We're too good. We got too many good players. We got great coaches that – hell, Clowney was just saying in the locker room, right? Like, this roster should not be going up and down like we're doing it. And
let me tell you what this reminds me of, or makes me think about. What's going on in the NBA? I know they don't want that to be the thought, but it is. When you got a roster this good, and we saw they was like the number one offense in football. And for them to struggle the way they did, I don't know that Denver's defense is that good. I mean, they're all right. But the Giants put like 27 on them or something. I mean, come on, man. I don't know. I don't get it sometimes. Sometimes I just don't understand how a team that good can go just like we're doing. Win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. I don't know. They kind of get everybody interested in the Cowboys, and then they lose. It smells funny.
And a guy like that, when he says it, he says he's been on 7 teams, that hits. That's real. And so we've just got to look in the mirror. Like I said, like I challenged the guys, and what can we do more?
Clowney should know.
Jack, 2018, you guys are 3-4. You lose to Washington, you make your trade for Mari, and you jumpstart that season. Can a trade do something like that for?
You see, he's laughing. You see, he's smirking because the guy asked him, remember back with Amari Cooper when y'all traded for him and he became the savior that year. Do you think trading and getting somebody else to come in here gonna help? And he starts laughing. He's smirking. This guy just asked him, does he think we could trade for somebody and bring? Listen to me. The Dallas Cowboys traded away Micah Parsons, who had been here like 4 years and got us nowhere. 3 years or 4, I don't remember, but it got us nowhere. We might have looked better losing, but we still were losing. So I don't understand what the issue is. Yes, if we had Micah, he would definitely. He's a game changer and a game wrecker. So he'd have helped us against Denver. He'd have helped us against all the teams we played without him if he wasn't hurt. But a lot of times he got double teamed. Mike could get double teamed and he don't know how to beat a double team. Maybe he'll learn this year. Michael, he couldn't beat a double team. He should have known they're going to double him. But he also had help, and he had other people that when he got doubled, they got free. But we don't have D-Law anymore. We don't have a slot cornerback that can play like that anymore besides Deron Bland, and we try to play him on the outside. Our defense is hurt. I don't know if I think Micah Parsons probably would have been like my man in Cleveland. He'd been like Myles Garrett. He got 5 sacks, and they still lost by a bunch. And he couldn't understand it. I think Micah would be frustrated with this staff. Just like Diggs is right now. He's frustrated with the staff. They took $500,000 from him for not being there rehabbing where he went somewhere else to rehab. Maybe he had more confidence in these other people. Don't the player got a right to make up their mind? Which he does, but hey, he never should have agreed and said, I'll be there, and gave them the right to take the $500,000. He should have told them, nah, I'm not going to be there. Well, maybe it's written in a contract or whatever, and he knew what he was spending. So, but now he's mad. Now he's soaking. The Diggs brothers are kind of they're a different breed to me. So you should have seen this coming. Eventually, he was going to get into his little funk. And if you look at his older brother, he's been passed around from team to team. But he's a great talent. Why would you let a great talent just get passed around like that? The same way they looked down on George Pickens and they got rid of him, but look at him now. That's what you have to do. You got to outplay the bad news. If George Pickens continues on the road he's on, it's going to be a successful story and ending for him. I don't know if he wants to come back and play in Dallas. I don't know who wants to play in Dallas, but somebody's going to play here because Jerry Jones paying. It would be amazing if players start saying, I'm not playing there. I'm not going to play there. I wonder what the league would do. That's interesting right there. That's interesting to think about. All right. We're going to listen some more to Dak.
I'd hope. Yeah, but then again, I trust and I like the guys that we have. I honestly do, and that's not just a political answer or whatever it is. Like, you see some of these games we've won, and honestly, even the tie in some of the games we've lost. Like, our rosters is our rosters okay? Can it be better? That's for you guys to write about and to judge. I trust those guys. We've got to be better in everything that we do. Getting a trade right takes opportunities and plays away from somebody else, and so I just echo to those people or to the guys in the locker room, right? Like, forget a trade, do more, right? Like shut that talk up, whether it be offense, whether it be defense, whatever position group that you guys are alluding to, step up and shut the talk up. Thank you, guys.
The leader. That's our leader, y'all. That dude right there is our leader. Now we're going to hear from Shadi, the leader of the team. Look, like everything okay with Shadi.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. What gives you confidence that you can get this thing turned around a little bit into your favor?
I'll start with the people, the type of guys we have in the locker room. Start with your captains, the leaders, just from top to bottom, the right type of guys, whether you're talking about CD and Dak and, in defense, Donovan Wilson and, Osa and CJ and Brandon, and there's 1,000 more. We've talked about this from the beginning. The adversity was going to come. The adversity's here. We know that. And certainly you watch that game yesterday, Calvin, and, we didn't really give ourselves the best chance to win. You can't have 12 penalties and 7 pre-snap penalties and in critical situations where you're on the 1-yard line or you get off the field on defense on 3rd down and then there's a offsides penalty and then they convert and 2 plays later they're in the end zone. So I would start with the people, and I'll always start with the people, and that's the coaches as well. Good meetings this morning with the coaches, pointed out the issues. Watched it. We took our accountability for the things that we could have done better in that game, and there was certainly a lot of those, and talked about some potential adjustments. So I think it's the makeup of the people, the brotherhood, both coaches and players alike.
You talk about adjustments. What would that pertain to? Personnel, scheme?
A lot of things. Quite honestly, a lot of things. You can't come off a game like yesterday and not expect there to be changes. And it was clearly our most incomplete game that we've played as a football team, really all 3 phases. I spoke a little bit about, the discipline aspect of it, but, you look at the inability to run the football offensively and the run game success that Denver had. That's not going to allow you to sustain much success when you're giving up a ton of yards rushing and you're not able to match that with your run game. And, that was a big part of it. And then, of course, the red zone. We're better than 2 for 4 offensively. You're down on the 1-yard line. You got to come away after a sudden change with a touchdown, and we don't. And on defense, certainly, giving up 4 out of 5 drives that enter in the red zone, you can't give up touchdowns. You got to make and kick field goals, and that's a big part of momentum. And we never were able to capture momentum, and the Broncos did.
Clarence.
I'm not going to have much to say about Shadi. I don't think. All that coach talk. Remember a little while back I said I might be getting tired of hearing him talk? We're getting close to that. I want to see them win. I think they can win. I want to see them win. Let me see what I messed up here. You might have to hear some of this again. Why do I keep doing it? That's me, y'all. I'm pressing the wrong button. I saw what I wanted to see, though, just now. No. Oh, right there. Let's go.
I would say, Clarence, I mean, just guys fitting their gaps, and, you know, we got to clean up our eyes. You know, we've said that. I've said that up here probably, you know, too many times. There's so many things in today's modern day of pro football where it's not just layman's terms, but you're not just running outside zone to the right or to the left anymore. There's things crossing and motions that go across, and it's designed for a reason. It's designed to kind of make a guy not fit the gap the right way. And
talks about that eye discipline quite a bit. It makes me think, are the players capable?
The best way to play run defense is to be coordinated and to fit your gaps. And there's been breakdowns at a lot of different levels by different people at different times.
Different people, different times. Each one takes a turn to mess up.
There's some things that we need to do schematically as a staff to tighten that up and to eliminate some of the combination blocks that are being allowed to happen. You know, if you're playing a 4-down spacing team and, you get a combination block and the linebackers don't go and shoot a gap, come downhill, then the linemen stay on that block a lot longer. And so they're going to get more displacement and movement. And there's crack replaces that have to happen. You're dealing in an era of this league. We do it. Obviously not well enough yesterday, but cut splits and you're cracking safeties and the corners have to replace. And if they don't, the ball's going to bounce to the edge. You saw us we lost perimeter support some last game. And I know Dobbins got out early in one of the big runs. And it's all about playing your gap and containing things. And I think the biggest thing is just we knew what runs were coming, and we weren't able to stop them. I'm talking about downhill duo and then some of the toss cracks games. And that's why it's something that we just have to really get back to using our fundamentals and techniques. And we drilled those things and they didn't show up in game day. And that's what's disappointing as a coach.
Yeah, after Carolina, we talked about physicality. Was physicality the issue? And then can you talk about the edge runs? I mean, defensive ends and not setting the edge.
Yeah, so again, I do think the physicality was there. The guys play hard. They always play hard. It's not about that. I think the edge runs, if you're a defensive end, you're getting ready to get cracked. We call it a crack block. You got a choice, right? You either pop the crack or you try to beat it with speed, and we call it cleaning the window. And there's a couple good examples of those. But what was happening is sometimes our alignments on the backside with the linebackers weren't perfect. And so when they toss the ball, if I'm a little bit behind or a half a yard removed from my gap, I can't get over the top of the block. And if you don't set the edge, we talk about setting the edge out of the numbers on those plays, it creates running lanes. And there was too many running lanes. I know certainly on the 42-yard run that Harvey had, there was too many running lanes, and we had a couple opportunities to get them on the ground, and we didn't.
And then when you watch the game back from an offensive line standpoint in the run game, you were talking about yesterday how Denver lines up really wide defensively. What didn't go right, or how do you block that offensively, and what couldn't go right to get the ground game going?
I think we did okay on the edges. They played wide. Where we weren't very good was straining and finishing our blocks, kind of at the second level or the second part of the play. We have to be better with that. The ID communication in the noise wasn't very good. We had some combination blocks where we were decked to get off at a certain linebacker and we didn't, and he came off and made the tackle. We had way too many mental errors on offense yesterday. So that's what we have to look at as a coaching staff, what we did not do well enough, because we're usually in the 12 to 14 area. So there's clearly something that we did not do as a coaching staff offensively. To have our guys have that many mental errors is unacceptable. And that's why I say, like, the biggest thing that came out of this game was I just was disappointed that we beat ourselves a lot, on both sides. We really did. We beat ourselves with pre-snap penalties. We beat ourselves with mental errors. We beat ourselves with, lack of communication on defense in some regards. And, when you play a damn good football team like Denver in a place where they're really good at winning, whatever they've won, 9 straight games or whatever, you can't do that and win in this league.
Game. So
Next week.
Okay. We got to tell y'all.
All right, so that was the end of Shoddy, as you can see. We're going to move right into this hanging with the boys. This is Shannon Gross, for those who don't know. This is Jesse Holley. Jesse Holley used to play for the Dallas Cowboys as a wide receiver. He came off of Michael Irvin's show called Fourth and Long? I think it was Fourth and Long. and he was a long shot, and he won the game, and he got to be a Dallas Cowboy. This is Kurt right here. He's the stat man, and that's Nate right there. He used to play for the Dallas Cowboys offensive line. So let's listen to them and see what they got to say.
I'll tell y'all a funny story while we wait on some callers. All day yesterday, Nate was like, "We got an extra show this week."
I don't know why. I don't know why I kept thinking we got an extra day.
Because we got a Monday game next week, so we actually have one less show next week.
Yeah.
But he was thinking that we were getting one added to this week. So after the show and walking down the hall, we finally had to say, Nate, we don't have an extra show.
Like, unless you plan on coming here Saturday and doing the show.
I don't know, man. I just, I get stuck sometimes, bro. I like,
And
wow.
you were saying it all the way. We got an extra show.
You were standing on it.
I'm like, nah, we got a
Standing on it.
last show.
You know you love your job when you just want to work an extra day.
No, I just was, because I wanted to move. I had already in my mind moved the defense to third. So I couldn't get.
And he's like, I'm avoiding watching all of that defense.
Hey, he didn't lie either. He gave up on film. Look. Last week he was for 3 days he was in his iPad. Today he's just like, you know what? Nothing to look at here.
Because I like watching good on good. And I thought our offense would perform a little better than it did. Because they had a good defense. I like good on good. We all do so. And that's what kind of bothered me when I'm like, wow, the more I watch their defense, that's a curse. Ain't that a curse sometimes to like something, but understand the integral parts of it, and you're looking like,
oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And the more you watch it, the more you're like,
yeah,
it's confirming more the things that you think. You're like,
kind of like last night when
here's it showing up again.
It's really cool that we're playing the Chiefs on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And when you really watch the Chiefs,
you go,
like, you really want
and
that.
They had everybody back for Washington.
Yeah.
They had Scary Terry.
Y'all might want to get y'all turkey eaten earlier. There might not your stomach might not be appetizing after.
Oh, looks like. Why is it so hard, Kurt? Your bullet point number 4, but this organization has had a really hard time evaluating defensive talent in the draft. Done a hell of a job on offense. Offensive linemen hit all the time. They backed into a few things. Dak. They do pretty good.
Yeah, they backed into 20 years worth of quarterback.
Right.
Yeah. They backed into 20 plus years of quarterback.
But for the most part, they do a pretty good job of evaluating they miss. All teams are going to miss, but they do a pretty good job of evaluating the offensive talent. But when it comes to defensive talent, Kurt, go through the stats because I'll screw the numbers up.
Sorry, I didn't have it.
Sorry, my bad. Yeah. But it seems like they've really struggled, especially the last 10 years, and especially since 2020.
Yeah, they've drafted 26 defensive players since then. Only 11 are still on the team. And if you look at this season, 11 starters a game, 8 games, 88 starts. That group has only had 31 of them. And outside of, Bland and Osa are your regular starters. Just not getting much.
Yeah, so
I think they're the only ones playing over 50% of the snaps, too.
Is defensive talent league-wide harder to evaluate, or is this team just really good at evaluating offensive talent, not so good at evaluating defensive talent?
I think there you have it. I think that's just – and if we took a fine-tooth comb through every team's process, you look at the Baltimore Ravens and you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, they just hit on defensive players. They just know how to find them. They have an eye for them. They have a culture for them. They just do. They do, right? Like, they just find them. And some teams are more, like, for example, the Cleveland Browns. They cannot find a quarterback to save their life. They are so bad. Like, think about that. Like, the Cleveland Browns have not been able to figure out and they've drafted high.
And even when they find a quarterback, he goes somewhere else.
You know what I mean? And so, like, some teams just have it. Some teams just I know how to find this. We hang our hat on finding this. And that's just what it is. And the Cowboys, they do a great job finding offensive linemen, and they,
But I guess, do scouts have, like, I would assume a scout that grew up playing offensive line is going to scout an offensive lineman better than he would a receiver. Does it work like that, or
Well,
do
Andrew,
you guys have,
This is a great discussion. I'd like to know too, because a lot of teams' personality depends on, or shall I say, their draft. They almost draft people that fit their personality. Cowboys do get, man, we get dynamic offensive linemen, not just good ones, great ones. And they've been having great offensive linemen since I was a kid, man, watching the Cowboys offensive line move people. Their defense was pretty good too, though. Tom Landry just knew what he was doing. Jimmy Johnson knew what he was doing. Jerry Jones knew he should have hired Jimmy Johnson, so he did. He's not a football man. He's a money man. Jerry turns a profit better than anybody, and that's kind of like our downfall a little bit. If our wins could reflect in his pocket, and our losses reflect in his pocket, maybe as the general manager, he'd do better. He's not a good GM.
separate strengths that they?
This is number one, is one of your main problems. One of your main and biggest problems is you do not know what you're looking for.
Wow.
You have to know what you want and what you're looking for. Now you can start figuring out how to get it. DQ, Zim, this Eberflus. What are you looking for? What are you looking for?
because every coach comes with something different.
Yeah, what are you looking for? So if you don't know what you're looking for, how do you know when you find it, how you know? So first of all, you got to hire somebody that, hey, this guy's not going to be fired. Like, for a long time, the Steelers had one defensive coordinator. No matter who the coaches was, it was just one defensive coordinator. For a long time, the Philadelphia Eagles had one no matter who the head coach was, this is our defense coordinator. This is what we run. For a long time, the Cowboys had one guy that did that. When you go to changing coaches, and your talent don't acquiesce as quick as your coaches are, what is Mozzie?
Yeah, he's.
What is Clark now? What is Osa? Osa is a guy that penetrates up the field, reckless abandon. That is not what this guy wants. You got to have a purpose in why you're doing that. Go look at Calais Campbell that plays for this team we're watching. He has a purpose when he shoots up the field. He makes plays when he shoots up the field. What are you looking for?
This is an indictment on us, man. This is sad. It's sad to hear that we don't even know what we're looking for. And Nate goes all the way back to Tom Landry because he remembers when we only had one coach, Tom Landry. I don't know how many coaches we have now since Jerry Jones, but we only had one. When Tom Landry passed, when we got Jimmy Johnson, we might have only had two, but I mean, it's all Jerry came, Jimmy Johnson, so it's kind of hard. You can't play this if and what ifs. Anyway, we keep changing defensive coordinators. We'll never have a good defense again. At least they paid DQ to stay here so we could have a nucleus. Because he was ready to go to be a head coach like he's doing a good job. I didn't want him to become the head coach of our team because I don't like the way he is as a head coach. I think the team in Washington going to find out in a little while. DQ took his team all the way to the Super Bowl. And they had a big fat lead. And they lost. So, just not yet. Anyway, We've had all these coaches. We have multiple. We've had 3 defensive coordinators in 3 years. Micah is in a place now in Green Bay. Well, they look to me more stable, so he'll probably play better because they look more stable. I don't think they're looking to change coaches next year.
What are you looking for?
Would they have been better served? Because Dak has more or less had the same system going back to, you had Garrett and Kellen Moore, then, Kellen worked for McCarthy for a year, and then Schottenheimer's been in. He's kind of had this flow where, like you said, it was Rod Marinelli, Mike Nolan, Dan Quinn's,
Even our offensive linemen haven't been as solid as what we was getting. It hasn't been just that boom, no matter where we picked them at. Top 5, middle, and the end. But when you just go to changing coaches you are going to have instability in what you're trying to do. The day they stop just changing coaches, changing philosophies, and I'm talking about mainly defensively, then you can start to build on something.
That's not too promising because right now it looks like we'll have another DC around here pretty soon.
Do you think?
Hey, y'all, I thank y'all for watching. I'm not going to interrupt anymore. I'm just going to let it go ahead and play out. If you're not saved, get saved. Romans 10:9 in the Bible. If you don't have a Bible, it says, if you confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus, and if you believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you shall be saved. Confess that, believe that, get saved. Come on down to the ministry or watch us on Saturdays on our channel, Disciples of Yeshua Deliverance. Just type Disciples of Yeshua Deliverance. I'm gonna start leaving a thread, a link or whatever for that, for those of you who do get saved and those of you who are interested. But I'll see you guys next time. Love you. Peace. Finish watching the video.
Eberflus was ever a long-term answer at DC?
I wouldn't.
I mean, he was always going to be looking for another, wouldn't he?
We hear Coach speak. This man, I'm about to pull a Jesse. I'm keeping this real. This man got humiliated in Chicago. They did him dirty the way they fired him, the way they talked about him, the way they did him. They did him dirty. That man had a very clean reputation going up until he got hired by Chicago. Okay, you bring this man here for what? We the fix-it guy or something? Come here a year, get fixed and leave? I think they hired this man to try to start something. And it hasn't worked because the players that you had, that you thought you were going to have, are gone. You thought you would have the kid that's in Green Bay, and you thought you would have 2 healthy corners that wanted to play football. And you have neither but 1 corner left that want to play football for the Dallas Cowboys. You don't even have a basis.
You think he's sitting back going, I'd have just passed this year. I'd have just waited a year if I'd known all this stuff was going to happen. I'd have just been like, you know what? I will go to the barn, go ask Mike if I can get the keys to the barn, go watch some film for a year and see what's open next year. Nobody would have walked into this knowing you're getting rid of your star generational quote-unquote pass rusher, your Pro Bowl cornerback. Like, I don't think anybody would have walked in here in their right mind knowing that.
Fellas, just think now. We started 4 guys in our secondary that would not even be on most teams' 2 deep roster. I think Bell would be there. And if he's not careful, when they go to cleaning house, they may get him too. Because sometimes when you play around that type of stuff, it gets you too. So he got to stay above the fry, or the fray, or whatever words you use there.
Both.
Yeah.
The fire and the fray.
when I look at this Dallas team, and I laugh because we sit up and we try to make guys bigger than what they are because of this star. Look at your two corners. Can you name them? I've passed two corners. Can you really just call their names and what they have done? I mean, I don't even, when they told me who was starting, I'm like, oh, okay. And I had to do a little quick check on my phone. Okay, You ain't got to tell me who Buda Baker is. You ain't got to tell me who he is, huh? Think about it. You ain't have to tell me who Patrick Surtain was. We tried to get him 2 or 3 times, yeah. I'm just saying, what impact player we have on defense in our secondary that you can say, yeah.
Bland's closest you got. Probably.
That's about it. And he has no help.